All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watch list coming into June 14th, 2019. We got an awesome Friday. All of the news has left us for a awesome push it to the wall opportunity. So we're going to talk about that with some option plays. But the market is getting very, very political. And now we need to go over a lot of the stuff we've been talking because it's either going to lead into an important move for tomorrow, but most likely coming into next week. So we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market. It's pinned in the comments. I was not there today. I have a awful case of pneumonia. So doctors trying to limit me to like one watch list, until, get the weekend, and we'll do all that. But I can't hold back. I love you guys. So make sure you guys drop a like. Be there tomorrow morning. I should be good to go. The antibiotics are starting to work a little bit better. I'm feeling a little hyped and juiced, so let's go. But most importantly, don't forget to post your watch list below. What stocks are you watching? But we got important stuff. So I'm going to talk about what we're looking for. I got keys for tomorrow for you, as well as even for next week in specific plays. And we need to talk about what we've seen with oil and some of the bigger metrics, even like TLT. I think, right there, we said this at the beginning of the week with oil, the dollar, and it led to this great cuckening of no movement. And if you guys have been watching the watch list, this could have saved you a lot of money trying to play up and down. This is what the GC looks like. Picture that, you guys. For a whole week, we did absolutely nothing. All that every day, waking up, doing this. So I said it was a blessing in disguise, being sick and all. But the volume is starting to pick up. We had some very weird moves. But the weirdest thing that occurred today, my friends, is that Saudi tanker stuff in Iran. That shit is extremely suspicious and weird. And why do I say that? Because we cannot draw any conclusions. All we do know, it's related to oil and politics. But that is telling us something. And those are that is a leg of politics that could affect the stock market or news. We've seen how the market has reacted, but it's not as important as like the trade war in China. But those are like extra pressures that are going to be added. But there's more important factors that could weigh on the market, but it doesn't mean that's not going to be important. But again, we also have the Fed coming in this week. So before I get into the plays and talking more into this, let us discuss the keys. But like I'm saying, oil is going to be very important. You guys could even see here, again, it's made the moves. And now it's honestly, this is what's starting to confuse me because it's doing a reverse of this. So it's kind of showing less strength in oil, but it's kind of doing an inverse of this move. We got the pop-up and now it's trading lower. So again, you see the volume on the oil, but watch for not only volume, but bigger candles. The bigger the candles, there's anything. But again, we've made it into Friday, and if we don't slip tomorrow, that's going to push everything to this week. But things even like TLT are setting up and shaping up for something very, very unique. But watch oil, watch as anything develops. But again, we are getting very, very political. Everything from the Poland stuff yesterday, the China stuff, even Mexico, the trade war, Europe. All of these, I think, are secondary or third place markers in terms of their effect. Market really cares right now about rates and trade with China, our biggest trade partner. So those are going to have the most weighting. However, these are those little aspects that could start weighing on the market and cause what we're seeing here today, where it looks a little bit different, where it is more weighed down pressure on certain assets, inflation, the dollar, all that, simply because of how every asset is moving in conjunction with each other. So watch oil. It's going to be very important, but simply most people don't know or care about politics or policy. That's why the digestion takes longer, and that's what we've seen this week. We could have foresaw a big pop coming in already. We could have saw the drop happen here, but it decided to cuck. And that's a lot different than here. Pretty much what I'm waiting for is this December 6th, December 7th type date where we get the flush. And that could happen either tomorrow or Monday. And again, if it doesn't happen, I'll just be wrong. So that's why I scale in. I'm not going to bet the farm on it, but I am cautious. And that's where so watch TLT, because TLT is lining up just like it did last time, except this is where you guys see TLT is not getting killed. This is like the, fool me once, fool me twice. Now, it's not like rates are bouncing all over the place. They are continuously getting lower. That's why this thing is starting to continuously go up. It's back at levels from, and again, we saw the same sort of movements in 2015, which led to, again, every time you see what happened with rates, this was the first oil crisis. It's starting to pick up like that again. But coming to the 1 year, this is where it happens. This is that date we were talking about. It peaks out, drops a little, and holds up. Then this big candle. It looks like we're having that again. So again, I'm viewing this, I'm seeing as stuff matches up. I'm doing, macro analysis on, understanding what's going on with rates and bonds and those effects. But then I'm using just simple price action and just how the chart looks to give me a little, okay, it is playing out like we saw, but that's what we have to be careful for, to not attribute the past to the future and be willing to take in whatever the market throws at us here. And again, that's what this week did, because with everything going on, if you get cucked like this, you just don't know when anything's going to happen. And as you see, it is slowly turning down. It bounces up. They've muted it a lot more, but we might see a bigger move. So again, I would wait till the Fed this week, and I think that's going to have a really big effect. But simply, we're either going to slip big tomorrow, preceding a bigger move next week, or we stall, and that could lead to another cuck, but most likely we start the drop. However, the Fed meeting can either delay or exasperate all of this. And what I mean by this is that tomorrow could look just like it did today with these last few days where it cucks, but that's going to push the move into next week. But if tomorrow is a slow stalling day and we don't get any more developments or anything, that could mean the same thing into the week if there is no news. And we could see Monday, Tuesday also show some of those signs and then drop Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday and Tuesday will be big moves down even up to Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday it'll bounce. But again, the key X factor here is going to be the news, but I honestly think the Fed, and what we talked about, is the Fed going to force something or not? And now coming back to some of the other metrics, so watch TLT, that's one. And again, tomorrow will be a day for the value stock, so it doesn't matter what cucks or what moves big. We've already seen it, and these are the days now, because again, I've even said it with like McDonald's, and I like them. I told you guys today, it's either gonna, it's either gonna not move at all, and that's exactly what it did today, and then it's gonna wait till the move on Friday. So these stocks might make their move preparing for Monday and next week. They might make the move now. So I'm gonna keep a big eye on the value stocks: McDonald's, Starbucks, Walmart, all the good ones. Make sure you post your watch list with any good ones you're watching. But I really like those. But again, don't forget to keep your eyes on the stuff that's important. The bond rates are one. We could see with TLT. And again, watch for the 2-year to invert with the 10-year. Man, the 10-year is about to break below 2 too. And also, you're seeing the 30-year start to slip, even the 3 months. So again, if this even makes a big move, we might even wait for the Fed to say something. Again, if rates start to move a lot and the market over expects something, traditionally, when the bond market and investors over analyze a Fed move, or they're all betting that this is going to happen, you'll see the Fed respond to that, and they'll say you're overreacting or underreacting. I think, and I saw a comment on this, and I believe it was very, very astute, that a lot of people in the Fed, they're not going to want to comment on overreaction with what the bond market's saying, because nobody wants to be that guy. No one wants to be the guy in 2007 saying the housing market was great, or that there's nothing to worry about. I'm sure Powell, he's done a lot. I like Powell. You guys say I'm a Powell fanboy. I think he's great. I don't think he wants that legacy. And he's a tricky guy, and he could pull off something. So we'll see. But if this starts to move very big, don't underestimate the fact if it moves big enough, they will have to say something. And that's what I'm saying. That could push us into something next week. And depending either before or after the Fed, that could be our catalyst and pivot point, either leading up to it or after. And then you throw in all that other stuff we've discussed. So there's that. Watch also too, don't forget, watch the Japanese yen, because it's holding down. So the market may have dropped and then bounced. The yen didn't do this. Again, look at here on all these dates. The yen follows along with everything. Again, here's that same November mark in December that we saw with oil. It dropped in December, bounced, and then, you go look at the correlation between the USD, Japanese yen, and even the stock market, and I'm sure you'll be pleasantly surprised if you have never looked into that. But watch the yuan, and now this is the main thing related to the dollar and the rates over here. I'm pulling up the yuan, but first is the dollar. Remember, I told you guys, dollar might do nothing, but now rates are popping. The market went up. Rates are going down still, but now the dollar's starting to move up. And here's the key. Dollar's strengthening. If that starts to strengthen a lot, this is going to add some pressure here. So we want to see what China does, because again, they're sending a political message. Do not forget when this, again, so many weeks have gone by, it's easy to throw this in the back of our minds, but that, that's why you guys are watching. That's what I'm here for, is to remind you guys this is very political. So if the dollar weakens, there will be a natural market effect to weaken the yuan, but if they let it go past these 6-9 numbers, that's going to send, that could be our catalyst again to say, hey, they're ready to move, or they're ready to announce something. So keep your guys' eyes out for that. But now let's get to the plays. So I really think that background will be most important to you guys, especially coming into this next week. So hopefully, has this been preparing you? Hopefully it hasn't been giving you too much to think about. I have been right a decent amount, so I don't want it to also confuse you, because understand, if you could try to prove me wrong, if you guys could prove me wrong, post a real thesis proving me wrong, and you change my mind, I'll make money and save money. So I'd love, this is why we want to source information, put put it in the comments and let's figure out this. This isn't a time to say you're a bull, you're a bear, you're this, I made this much, you're that. No, this is how we work together to be able to find the most optimal play. I'm telling you guys, it's us versus the market makers right now, especially when they're cucking, it's dropping, all this. You don't have time to let your ego get in the way and hate on the next trader. You got Wall Street trying to rob you right now. So we are trying to play this, be productive in the discussion and what we're looking for. But that being said, I'm going after the value stocks tomorrow. Those are going to be my plays. I'm going to be looking at McDonald's. Another one now, not value. I don't want to bore you guys too much with that, but Nvidia. And why Nvidia? If you look at AMD, they dropped 5%. That could be a good bounce and mover. Micron moved about 1%, but I like when Nvidia does this, pretty much the cuck, and it hasn't moved as much. So that could be signifying just like it did with Qualcomm. But keep your eyes out for Nvidia because it has at least made big moves, and it's kind of one of those object in motion stays in motion. So watch how they play out in reference to the whole market in general. Next is Facebook. They did the bounce, and now Facebook might see a drop tomorrow. Because again, it's just like Boeing. They'll hold it up until the end of the week and then let it slip a little bit. But if you're going to play Facebook, get time. There could be a short-term opportunity, but we need to get time. But the bad news is definitely, I think it's setting us up for a good opportunity. Don't let the slow boil make you forget about that. And I didn't put that in the next one up here, but Netflix, I still like it. So if you guys remember for the beginning of the week, we killed it. This is, if you guys watched the beginning of the week, we shorted around 366. It's down to 344 now. So those next week contracts are up. The volume's picking up. But again, Netflix is definitely looking weaker comparing it to its peers. And you're even seeing that go even more crazy. Take a look. Even now, Disney went up a lot today. Our calls just came straight out of the grave. But you guys got to realize this move on Disney is huge and very important. This is going to be a good one to push to the wall tomorrow. So we're going to go over that when we get to the options chain. TLT is going to be a good one. You guys could do butterflies. That's what I'm in. And then I'm adding extra on the top. But now you have to understand both the timing with TLT and if it stalls. But remember, when there's volatility, the indexes like TLT, and again, that's why I scaled in on them a few days ago. I'm already up a lot more than I would have been, but if pretty much the prices aren't expensive on these plays, but if you buy them when the IV is high and when people are expecting stuff, the premiums they become unbearable. So that's where a lot of people mess up on these indexes. So please be very, very cautious of those and wait on those. But next one, I'm going to keep watching this. We have the play. The fact that it's still holding and the market did a lot. We don't know whether people are rotating in and out, but beyond me, I still like it, even if it doesn't make a move tomorrow coming into next week. Honestly, I kind of want this one to boil. Maybe that's what we call it, kind of like push into the wall, but you want this one to boil. And what I mean by that, I want people to forget about it. I want it to kind of chill out here so that the premiums can come down, but it's still holding up everything it needs to. It's not that premiums are going down because it's dropping, but as people kind of forget, it's going to make a random pop. And again, it's holding up. I even think there was some news on some shortages of the meat, I believe. So I think the demand for Beyond is beyond what people expected. Wow, look at that punny joke. But keep your guys' eyes out on that. Next up, too, because it made a huge move today. We had a lot of people talked about it. It had a big gap up. And then it came down, and again, this could be like Beyond. RH is expensive, but with a Friday and butterflies, it could be pretty good. So keep your guys' eyes out for that. Next, Starbucks, value stock, Coca-Cola. Well, I got Lululemon too. I didn't mean to click that, but the earnings, we are still waiting. We were up on the butterfly today. It fell out. I needed to go up $10 by tomorrow, that butterfly, because I set mine at 185. Now, again, another thing we could do tomorrow is you can actually look at these, and I'm going to probably do the same thing on RH. Both of these are crazy movers. If you guys have noticed, RH and Lulu, anytime we brought them up, they're both moving at the same time and in big quantities. So I don't know if quantities is the right way to describe price movement, but you get what I'm saying. The point is, though, butterflies, we could set another range depending on the risk reward. So I'm going to be excited to see how that is tomorrow. But again, be careful too, you guys. Friday expirations, what you could learn a lot from here is paper trading and get a habit of it. If you're like, okay, I want to trade weeklies. I see Josh talk about them and do these. Try it out on paper first. See how this Friday goes. If you don't blow up a paper account on this Friday, maybe you could do it. Maybe you could give it a shot next week, but at least say you've done it before, practicing to have a realistic idea of what's going on here. But be careful. Paper trade all these. But let us get to the option chain, my friend. So of all the plays tomorrow, I want Robinhood, Restoration Hardwood, I always call it Robinhood, Lululemon, Disney, and McDonald's, and maybe a tentative on Coca-Cola. And these are all going to be push it to the wall plays, but you have to be careful. One is going to be the timing. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with what it means to push it to the wall, I've said this every time. Look at how cheap these contracts are today. They're going to expire tomorrow, but essentially, if the stock doesn't end up at one of these prices, so if it ends at $51, if it's not in the money by tomorrow, each one of these contracts is going to go one by one down to zero. So these are already a cheap contracts. And again, take a look. Here's Amazon comparatively. You notice Amazon on the weeklies, there's a lot more money even as you go down. These are up to $100. But what I'm saying is by the end of the day tomorrow, every single one of these up until this one, only these ones that are in the money will have value because, again, they're about to expire worthless. But now pay attention. We're going after value stocks. This is Amazon. That's not a value stock. You could go literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, let's say 15 strikes down, and you are still having a value of $60. Go back to the Coca-Cola play we just brought up. You go down 3 strikes, you're already at $1. These are already $2. Even one strike down to 6 cents. Why is it like that? It's a value stock. Coca-Cola is not expected to move like Amazon and make big moves. So people aren't willing to pay a lot of money when it's theoretically and statistically almost impossible for that to occur. So that's why they have cheap prices. So that's why our goal here is you find the best contract. So, again, even if it's literally, think about it, Coca-Cola's at 51.13. I'm not telling you guys go for the 51.50s, because that's a big move for Coca-Cola to go up 40 cents. Put that into perspective. It's only moved 11 cents today. Your plan maybe should be you wait till it falls below 51.13. These will come out of the money, and then they'll really depreciate if they stay out of the money. And then if it bounces to the day, throughout the day, then we could go for the frogs. So check out the video we have on frogs. But I like Coca-Cola and some of these. Like I said, that's a tentative play, but specifically I like McDonald's, the 205s. It's either going to be on the morning or not. Even the 207s, if it is a really big play, but usually anything above 207, I'm very skeptical on McDonald's. You can't even set up for next week, but push these to the wall. If the contracts could get really cheap tomorrow, it could be good. And I'm just thinking that the value stocks are going to have a good day to move tomorrow. But again, the way McDonald's has been playing out this whole week, it had the big drop, so it came back up. I'm waiting kind of for equal and opposite reaction here. And if anything is a good day, it's going to be tomorrow for them. So there's those two. What's the other ones I got? Restoration. And now these two are not value stock. Restoration and Lulu, these are just related to earnings and growth and expectations. Restoration, they did bad last time, and they got killed off their earnings. You see they sold off, but now why did they go up so much? They killed their earnings, and they raised their guidance. So they did really good. These, and same thing with Lulu. These are the earnings plays, and now so they're not value. But why I'm highlighting these two? These are big movers. The contracts are going to be very, very expensive here. I guess Lulu's not bad, so Lulu looks a little bit cheaper, but I know RH is going to be very expensive all the damn time. But the point is, they can move a lot. And now having these earnings events and what's going on, they're going to have specific catalysts to move them independently. So when we're in a cuck, or even if we're in a big move, those stocks are pretty much going to do their own thing. So there's that, you guys. I'm going to leave it there. Don't forget to post your watch list. Be there tomorrow. Shout out to every single person who was there today, interacting in the chat, holding it down. You guys, this is why I love you guys. I got to hook you guys up. So be there tomorrow. Let's get it. Let's work together. Keep it on topic. I love you guys. Let's go.